Hey there, this is One Boom, and today's short video is all about the use cases for the new and improved ammo types in Modern Warfare 2. They buffed these, got rid of a lot of the downsides, and I thought I'd talk about my favorite ammo types and why I use them and why you should too. Because I think a lot of you guys look at ammunition and go, yeah, that's fine, but I'm missing out on a muzzle device or a magazine or an optic or something, so why would I run these sort of gimmick ammo types? Well, let's start with the simple one first that you probably already use, and that is high velocity ammunition. Now, high velocity ammo is the most applicable to any scenario outside of close range combat. But in general, what I would tell you about high velocity ammo is that you should use this for consistency and long range combat. If you start to feel like your aim is getting thrown off, or you start to feel like you're just not performing as well as you should be, maybe you like to run the short barrel in the TAC-56 for that faster aim down sight speed, but your kills are starting to get a little sloppy at mid-range, high velocity ammunition is going to make up that difference for you more often than not. More bullet velocity is never a bad thing in Modern Warfare 2, so if you start to feel like your gun's sort of letting you down, you're losing your mid-range gunfights, people are sort of weaving in and out of your trails of fire, definitely equip high velocity. So that's the most easy use case, right? Bullet go faster through the air, you lose a little bit of your damage range, but your bullet is going to be making contact more consistently. So it's better to have a fast bullet that's going to hit the target, because if the bullet's not hitting the target, it doesn't matter what the rest of your build is like or the rest of your stats are like, the bullet needs to hit the target. So for ranged combat, definitely high velocity. Now, the next ammo type is overpressurized rounds. Now, why would you use overpressurized rounds? Well, this increases target flinch, and this used to increase the recoil on you, but now it doesn't. It just increases flinch. Awesome. Okay, so what do you use this for? Well, against SMG and AR users, most just run and gun type weapons, you're not going to notice too much of a difference when fighting your opponents. You might throw their aim off a little bit if they were already aiming at the top of your head, which right now, with people going for the Ronin challenge, trying to get all the headshots they can, might not be a bad time to run it. You might really piss some people off. But in my opinion, these have a very specific use case, and that is when you are fighting good snipers or just people camping with marksman rifles, any sort of high zoom optic. If somebody's using a high zoom optic and they are posted up with bolt actions and DMRs, that is when you bring out the overpressured plus P rounds. These are absolutely devastating to campers. In Modern Warfare 2, seeing scope glint out in the distance faced at you means you're likely going to die. The snipers in this game are very powerful, and a lot of the people running snipers are running high velocity ammunition, so it's practically hit scan. If they have their crosshair on you and you notice their glint, you're probably dead. If you want a fighting chance, use overpressurized rounds. The flinch you receive when using a sniper is higher than other weapons, so again, if you're using a high zoom scope, you have a lot more view kick, so that flinch is going to absolutely devastate those people. This is the long range counter camper tool, or just counter sniper, counter hard scoper sort of thing. I really only break these bad boys out on longer maps with a lot of snipers, or just if I'm fighting a particularly good sniper. I find I win a lot more gunfights as soon as I put some plus P rounds in my gun. So that's for counter sniping. Now we move on to armor piercing, and this is obviously FMJ, right? We all know how FMJ works, increased bullet penetration and vehicle damage, but the thing about armor piercing rounds in this game is they don't just increase your damage through materials. Armor piercing rounds in this game let you shoot through certain materials you wouldn't already be able to shoot through. I have shot through some solid stone walls, concrete pillars, metal desks. Armor piercing is sort of like high velocity in my opinion. If you just want more consistency, you don't want to lose a gunfight because an enemy went behind a metal beam or pole that you can't technically shoot through unless you have armor piercing rounds, that's when armor piercing is really good. And then obviously the added benefit is that you can deal a lot more damage to streaks. I think a lot of people just sort of rock these to shoot down streaks without realizing you can chew through cover really well. A high caliber armor piercing round in this game is going to chew through cover like it's not there. So putting this on like a TAC-V or a Kastov 7.62, really solid choice, especially if somebody's head glitching and you're using a higher recoil gun and you don't want to have to hit them in the upper chest and head. Screw that, just shoot through the wall they're behind. Likely armor piercing rounds are going to allow you to do that. So experiment around with them and get a sort of, sixth sense about what can be shot through and what can't be. But again, like sheet metal and particle board, thin wood, you are going to just mow through it. And I swear, sometimes with certain materials, it feels like you are dealing absolutely full damage with this. Now, the next one is the frangible ammunition. Now, why do you use frangible? Well, this does hurt your bullet penetration, so you do lose some consistency and you might lose some gunfights to dealing less bullet pen, but this is an interesting one. It sounds gimmicky, but hear me out. This is the ammo type you use if you are an aggressive OBJ player in game modes like Control, Domination, and Hardpoint. When you're on a Hardpoint or Control Point or Domination flag, you're likely not going to live long if you're making a name for yourself on the kill feed there. So you use these because, let's say you're defending a Hardpoint, and an enemy or three push you, and you get some hits on all of them, but you end up dying. If you have frangible ammunition, they're gonna take like 8 to 10 seconds to have to get their health back. That's a lot on a hard point. To just not have your health, this is gonna punish them for not having quick fix, for not having stems. It's absolutely going to brutalize those people because they're gonna be killing you and then hopping on your hard point after the gunfight, and their health won't come back. So they'll be on the hard point one shot for much longer, potentially. Obviously, this does sound a little gimmicky. It does require a little bit of finagling, but no, sorry, this is real. This has happened to me. I fought a player using frangible ammunition back in Modern Warfare 2019, and that delayed healing effect in Hardpoint is damning because I push the Hardpoint, I win the gunfight, but I'm still reeling from the gunfight, and I'm just stuck on this Hardpoint, broadcasting my position to the enemies because I'm on the Hardpoint and my health will not come back. So frangible is great for that. If you want to make an entire objective just hell for everybody, running a high rate of fire weapon with frangible ammunition and just getting as much damage in as possible, obviously still try to focus your kills. Your goal isn't to bring them down to one shot and then get assists and go, yay, frangible ammunition. It's for that gunfight or two that you can't win. It's for pushing an objective, maybe not winning, but just helping your team in a way your team isn't even gonna fully appreciate that you left everybody one shot for double the amount of time that they normally would have. Now, is this practical? Should this be something you are pursuing in your playstyles? That's the hard thing. The thing about ammo types is they're not always helping you all the time. If you're in close quarters, high velocity doesn't matter. If you're getting a normal kill without any cover around or any streaks around, armor piercing is not gonna help. Overpressurized rounds, if they're not using a sniper scope or an actual sniper rifle, probably not gonna help. And frangible ammunition, if you're not playing an objective, I mean, it's not gonna be the biggest deal in the world to just take a little bit more time to heal. It's gonna be annoying, but Picking an ammo type means that you are not getting a full benefit all the time because that's just sort of how this works. You sometimes are gonna run an ammo type that just doesn't matter to that particular situation. Now, the nice thing about this, and I think Exclusive Ace covered this recently, is that some ammo types don't really have that many cons at all, and you can just go ahead and go into tuning and tune up your recoil steadiness to bring your recoil down a little bit. You can give yourself some extra damage range as a treat and some recoil steadiness, and that tuning is an added buff to your weapon. So while the ammo type's initial gimmick might not always be the most useful for every engagement and for every game mode, that benefit of giving yourself less recoil is pretty powerful. Like, for instance, overpressurized rounds now don't have a downside, so if you tune them for recoil steadiness and damage range, these are just a net benefit to your weapon. This is just better bullets for your gun, who knew? And that's where I want to end the video. Yes, these are sort of subject to the game you're in, but they are not something that you should avoid because they're not always useful. Sometimes your optic isn't useful because not every enemy is hiding behind cover at a distance. Sometimes your suppressor isn't useful because it's Modern Warfare 2. Sometimes you don't need every attachment you have, but I've heard a lot of people say that the ammo types are gimmicky, even after the buff, and because I've heard that opinion, I decided I'd make this video and say, be a little bit creative, think outside the box. Delaying people's healing on an objective, high velocity rounds for consistency, armor piercing for utility, and of course, overpressurized rounds for countering hard scopers and snipers. That is, in my opinion, a pretty good argument for using those ammo types. As soon as you mix in the tuning, that is the cherry on top. The slightly more stable recoil is noticeable. Go in the firing range, check it out for yourself, and let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below. I said it was going to be short, but it ended up being 10 minutes long, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. See you when I see you. Goodbye.